Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Monster vs. Monster here on the D&D CR Exposed YouTube channel. What are we doing here? Well, we're taking groups of monsters and putting them against other groups of monsters, and you can, suggest the next battle. And I believe this one was definitely a consideration of people, wanting to do this with the viewers here. I believe this was a viewer suggested one, and we'll go ahead and see what happens here. Herr Doctor, hello. Lucan, hello. Flame Loud, welcome aboard. Yes, as you may have seen from the thumbnails, tonight we have Goblins versus Kenkus. This was an interesting submission, and we're going to see what happens here. There weren't too many Kenkus to go with, so we actually have some named Kenkus from various different books, and we'll get into those in just a moment here. Alright, so, what's the story here? Well, since it's goblins, our good old friend Friz is back. And after the failed attempt of Friz and the other goblins going to secure a mountaintop possible base here, he has, absconded away with himself and gone ahead and got himself a new crew with another goblin, a couple hobgoblins, and a bugbear as well. Ian Revik and Braincell. Hello, Braincell. You are new to the channel, I believe. Thank you for stopping by and watching this Monster vs. Monster here. So, for our goblins, let's take a look at, who we have here. Well, first off, we have ourselves a bugbear, Dugger. And then we have one of two hobgoblins, Kozron and Vokra. Vokrer? I don't know. Sounds good. Yes, it's your man Friz, he's back. Then we also have the goblin Dullgut and Friz. And Friz is a special goblin with character artwork by the Trash Mob Middies on Patreon. So I keep forgetting to mention that. That's where Friz's artwork comes from. And then up here for our Kenkus, we have Clonk, who is stealthed, as well as Friz. Friz is stealthed. Scribble, Kettlesteam, and Chukka. And also stealth as well, because they got some rather good rolls here, as you can see from the roll history. So, it appears we have ourselves a band of Kenku, and what are they doing? I don't know. Maybe this is part of their hideout. They're hanging out here in these woods, but there's a nice pond in the middle here with some stone. Maybe there's some kind of, maybe this is a sacred site. We can see there are some kind of inscriptions on this fallen stone here, and there's some fallen stone back here, so maybe the Kenku believe this is a sacred site, or it could be a hideout, or they're just passing through. Who knows? I don't know. We'll figure that out in the end. But in any event, our goblin team here has split up, as maybe the hobgoblins suggested this was the tactic to get around here and to make sure that there was no one side or the other, and are coming in to see that we have ourselves some Kenku up here that are just kind of hanging around. I don't believe they were attempting to be stealthy, because I don't think they have much in the way of the stealth skill. But the other two do. So, we will go ahead and take a look at our characters once we get this game started. Chicken King, hello! Thank you for stopping by. And ELG, you're here as well. Awesome. Good to see you all. Man, there's a lot of people in the chat tonight, which is fantastic. It's great to see it, and I hope you all guys enjoy this as we begin round one right now. So let's go ahead and begin combat. I didn't hear any kind of drum rolls or anything. And we will go ahead and roll the d20s for our combatants. So, let's see what we got going on here. Here come the d20s, and we have ourselves a combat tracker of Dullgut going first, followed by Chukka, Clonk, Vokra, Scribble, Kozron, Kettlesteam, Friz, and Dugger. Friz going last is probably pretty good for him, because, Friz likes to duck out if things aren't going the goblin way. It's just how he does. So we will go ahead and start round one here with Dullgut, our goblin who attempted to hide but didn't really do so well. Truck95, hello! Welcome aboard. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoy this Monster vs. Monster battle as we get started with round one right now. Okay, so first up to go is Dullgut, and let's take a look at what Dullgut has for options. Well, we know that they have Nimble Escape, which is, if you've been watching this channel, Nimble Escape is horrible. It turns these guys into CR1s if you use it correctly. They also have a scimitar and a short bow, as well as a shield and armor. Now, in the case of using a short bow, we know we can't use a shield, so we'll have to go ahead and deduct the shield from the AC there, which we should be able to. Let's see here. From the features, we'll worry about that later. In any event, let's go ahead and take Dulgut's turn here. So they're going to go ahead and do the old, maybe Nimble Escape. We'll see what happens. Yeah, they're gonna move, and then they're going to attempt to hide in the shrubbery here since they can see a Kenku up the way, and might as well get the get to going here. Ah, Tom, hello. Welcome aboard. Thank you so much for stopping by. Yes, from Discord and Fiverr. Thank you so much. Let's see here. I'd say this would be a fun stream, but I must bail early. Ah, it's too bad, Hair Doctor. But the video will always be up for you to check out later. So let's go ahead and move Dulgut here. So Dulgut's going to scamper up their 30 feet into what we'll say is some kind of cover here that they will go ahead and use their bonus action to try and do, their... Whoa, what was that about? Huh, weird. Nimble Escape with. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do the Nimble Escape. They've used their bonus action, and now... Oh, I ended their turn. That's what I clicked. I clicked too quickly. So they're going to go ahead and try and make a hide check here to see if they can get the surprise. It's a little weird in the terms of, oh, maybe they just jump into the bush. Who knows? But yeah, we'll go ahead and give them a stealth check to see if they hide. And let's see here. Stealth right there. +6. And we have ourselves a 15. Let's take a look at our combatants. What is their passive perception? We have a 12, a 12, another 11, and a 12. So yes, the 15 does indeed put them into technically hidden state, so they will get advantage on the attack as they go ahead and draw their short bow out to go and make an attack. So we're going to swap over to the short bow here, and for the sake of this, let me see if I can adjust the armor a bit. Equipped armor. Okay. I want to see if I can unequip this shield somehow. Attunement, equipped. Okay, there we go. It is now unequipped for the time being. I wish the equip option was here like the players have. And now we have an AC of 13 because they don't have their shield on. So the first, Kenku they can see that they want to get by is Kettle Steam here, who I believe is somewhat of a magic user. A little bit. Yeah, they have some spell casting, which is pretty good. We will take a look at that in a moment once we get to Kettle Steam's turn. And we will go ahead and have Dulgut make an attack at advantage because they're hidden. So we'll target Kettle Steam here, pick Dulgut, and go for the attack. All right, here comes the advantage. Oh, we have a natural 20! 24 total to hit, and that's 7 points. Yeah, it looks like that's a total of 7 points of damage there to Kettle Steam, who has already taken a big chunk of damage, probably about 25%, if not more. Let's take a look here real quick. Oh, yeah, that's easily 25 to 30% of their hit points. And Dulgut, gives a little ha-ha scream of enjoyment as he hits Kettle Steam and unfortunately does some damage. That is Dulgut's turn, and we will now move on to Chukka, who is hidden over here in the bushes. So let's take a look at Chukka. What do they have to offer us? Well, we have all of our stats here. They're good at deception, perception, and stealth. And they have a silvered pike, mimicry, and ambusher. So in the first round of combat, Chukka has advantage on attack rolls against any creature it surprises. Well, the problem is they are way too far away for this. With only 5-foot range and 30 feet of movement, it's very doubtful that they can get over here. Yeah, they can only get here within 40 feet, which is not good. So, what are they going to do? They can't really do much of anything, and their ambusher isn't going to help them at much of anything here. And having the silver pike and no ranged attacks, that is really unfortunate. So what are they going to do here? You know what? They're going to, since they're still stealth, they're going to move, let's see here, 5, 10, we'll say 15 feet to here. And if anyone comes within range, they'll go ahead and make an attack. Actually, we'll put them right there since they're still stealthed in this brush here. So that's going to be Chukka's turn. They're going to go ahead and hold their action for a possibility to attack anyone that comes close by. And they are now readied. So we move on next to Clonk, who is over here, also hidden in the brush. And let's take a look at Clonk. Clonk, by the way, is from Baldur's Gate's Descent into Avernus. And Chukka is from also the same thing, hence the artwork. All right, so Clonk, let's take a look at them, see what they got going on here. They have a Hellfire Warhammer, Ambusher, and Mimicry. So once again, they have very similar attributes here, but can't really do much of anything on that first round, being able to use their Ambusher ability, which is a shame. But we will go ahead and move them, we'll say 15 feet into here, and then we'll do another 30 feet to here. You know, that'll be their 2 actions as they are moving stealthily along, hidden with a 15 or so, which was from before, and with their passive perceptions of a 10 and a 10 over here, Clunk is definitely not being seen. So we'll have the element of surprise once you know, someone gets close enough. And just to double check here. Yeah, okay. All right, so that is Klunk's turn, double moving, and we are now up with Vokra. And Vokra is going to start calling out some orders and saying, "Yeah, get the Kenku," and pointing out the one that Dolgut had attacked. So he's issuing commands here to direct all attacks to Kettlesteam to attack and defeat them first. So we're going to go ahead and see 30 feet of movement. So Vokra is going to move up 30 feet, and then we're going to take a look at their features here. As every typical Hobgoblin, they have martial advantage. So once per turn, the Hobgoblin can deal an extra 7 points of damage to a creature it hits with a weapon attack, if the creature is within 5 feet of an ally of the goblin that isn't incapacitated. So kind of like Pack Tactics, except they just get damage instead of an attack bonus, but they need an ally there. So unfortunately, they're not going to get martial advantage anytime soon. But for the time being, they're going to go ahead and draw their longbow out and go in for some ranged attacks. So let's go ahead and unequip this shield for the time being, dropping their AC, but they will use their longbow here to make an attack up against our unfortunate target of Kettlesteam. All right, so 1 longbow attack, not at advantage. It's going to be a base 3 for a total of 6, and unfortunately misses Kettlesteam. Unfortunate on whoever you are rooting for here. And Vokra is still issuing the target here. I wonder if there's a... How do I do that again? I think if I hold down... No. Yeah, that's it. That's the thing, yeah. Shift, and he's like, yes, we will target the Kenku, and I don't know why that just dragged. Anyways, that is Vokra's turn, and we now move on to Scribble. Scribble here is, I believe, another caster. Let's take a look at our features. We have Arcane Shock as a melee attack or a ranged attack, as well as Glyph of Shielding. Scribble can add 2 to its AC against one attack that would hit it. To do so, Scribble must be able to see the attacker and have a free hand, which, you know, just having an Arcane Shock here, more than likely they have the free spell or the free hand to do so. So they'll get a 2 AC bonus, which is kind of nice. They also have Comprehend Language, Identify Mage Armor, which would have been up prior to this, so we will go ahead and have this up. Yes, let's get rid of that targeting here. So this is not their action because this would have... Oh, come on now. All right, there we go. We're going to put our Mage Armor on. Yep, we're going to go ahead and cast that. That would have been on beforehand. All right. And then we also have Dancing Light and Mage Hand. So they really don't have much in the way of really useful attacks. And they're going to go ahead and just... let's see here. What is the range on their one Arcane Shock here? So it's 30 feet. All right. They have 30 feet away. Let's see here. 55 feet. So they're definitely going to have to move up 25 feet to get a little closer. They're going to move up. And yeah, perfect. Just enough to attack Vokra with the Arcane Shock. So 1 Arcane Shock is going in. Base 16, total of 21 to hit. That is definitely going to hit for 20 points of damage. Holy cow! I was not expecting that. Oh, that's a lot of damage. Oh, what in the world? Oh, goodness. This is a CR1, folks, and it did 20 points of damage, outright killing our Hobgoblin in one shot with only 11 hit points. That is pretty sorry. Oh, my goodness. But with a high AC, unfortunately, you know, it would have been a little higher if they'd kept their shield up. Not expecting that. Yes, we have a one-shot, as Ian said. Holy good. Oh, my God. Well, that is one of the Hobgoblins out of the fight, and now we are at even odds here, 4 versus 4. As the goblins have something to think about as they come up against Scribble, who, you know, the other ones over on this side may not have seen exactly what's going on here as they are focused on trying to get to them around the bend here. All right, so that's Scribble's turn. They're going to go ahead and move 5 more feet back and end their turn there as they just, you know, give off a some kind of a cheer of excitement, like that maybe they were around some people screaming at an auditorium, and they just hear ah yeah. So Scribble is mimicking the cries of people at an arena. All right, so that's Scribble's turn. Up next is Kozrun, and Kozrun is going to go ahead and charge on up. Let's see here. Not really seeing much of anything to do here. It's going to go 30 feet to here, and then probably try to close the gap, maybe, or. Do they want to go ahead and... let's see here. Probably going to try and close the gap. They're going to keep their shield up and see if they can get as close as possible. Unfortunately, they can't get right on there, but they have definitely closed the gap as needed to try and attack these Kenku spellcasters here. Not realizing that lying in wait are 2 Kenku as well, melee support. All right, up next is Kettle Steam. And let's take a look at what Kettle Steam has to offer here, already being damaged once. All right, Kettle Steam has a dagger that they can throw. They have a multi-attack, which is, let's see here, 2 dagger attacks. Or they have Twilight Sleep. They can use twice in one day. Kettle Steam targets 1 creature she can see, within 10 feet of her. That target is engulfed in a cloud of magical sleep-inducing gas and must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or fall unconscious. All right, well, a creature put to sleep by this gas awakens instantly if it takes damage, or someone uses an action to shake them awake. All right, I think that's going to be probably something good for Kettle Steam to do. Let's also take a look at her spellbook. We have Bestow Curse, Fairy Fire, Speak with Animals, Disguise Self, Friends, Mage Hand, and Minor Illusion. Well, I think the first thing that is going to be the best option is definitely trying to put this Hobgoblin to sleep. So they're going to go ahead and move 15 feet up and then target Kozrun with their feature here of Twilight Sleep. So let's go ahead and use this ability. Ooh, nice spell effect. Awesome. So they attempt to put Kozrun to sleep, throwing them into a Twilight gas. And Kozrun here needs a DC 13 Constitution save. Sadly, for the Kenku here of Kettle Steam, Kozrun succeeds and is not put to sleep, and just kind of slaps his shield with his sword as he drew the sword, running into battle, and gives him a look of, haha, you are next. All right, so that is Kettle Steam's turn as they've moved in, used an ability, and moved back. Unfortunately, that's the end of Kettle Steam's turn. Up next, we have Friz, who is down over here, and we will go ahead and move them up. And we'll have them move the double move since they're still kind of hidden at the moment. So that'll be 15 feet to there and another 30 feet to here. So they're hiding within the high grass or the shrubberies and foliage of these trees and whatnot. So unfortunately, that is Frizz's turn, as he has no reason to escape just yet. And we move on to our last person to go, Duggar, our bugbear here. So our bugbear thought they were hiding, unfortunately isn't hiding, and is going to move through the brush here and come on out to 30 feet, rushing up to follow suit with Kozrun. And let's see here, just to double check their features. They have a Morning Star and a Javelin. How many Javelins do they have? Enough Javelins. Enough. And let's see here, what's the range on Javelin? I believe it's, 30, 120. So they can definitely throw a Javelin. And since it's their first round, they do have the surprise attack. If the bugbear surprises a creature and hits it with an attack during the first round of combat, the target takes an extra 7 points of damage. Sadly, he didn't really get the surprise off, so he's not going to get the surprise attack, but he is going to attempt to throw at Kettle Steam there, who, was called as the target of attack. Now, this is definitely going to be a disadvantage attack, but, who knows? This could actually hit. So, Duggar's going to go ahead and give himself a nice little javelin throw. And at disadvantage, we have a base 6, and that misses Kettle Steam with a total of 10, unfortunately, for Duggar, who just, curses to himself as the javelin attack goes wide. Now, this is the bottom of round 1. We already have 1 dead Hobgoblin, surprisingly. We have a wounded Kettle Steam, and we move on to what I like to call the randomness of inter-rounds and whatnot. Let's see here. Flame Loud. I'm tired from some yard work and just listening to what's going on and keep thinking, wait, is he playing PF2E? No, not this time. That'll be tomorrow, Flame Loud. Hopefully tomorrow anyways, if my guys can, if my crew is available to do so. All right. So we're going to go ahead for our in-between rounds, roll a D100 to see if something special happens. In every consecutive round that something doesn't happen, the percentage gets a little higher. We started a 1% chance of needing 100 on the D100, and then it lowers, and it'll go to 99, then 98, and 97. Sometimes it happens on the first round, sometimes it happens on the third round. Sometimes it doesn't happen at all. And this time, we get a 47. Nothing happens. So, we move on to round 2, and we start with Dullgut here, our goblin who thought they were hiding in the bushes. So, Dullgut's going to dash across to these bushes here, not realizing that as they get into the bushes, Chukka comes out of nowhere and goes in for the attack. Using their reaction, as they were hoping to do so, goes and attacks with their silvered pike. 14 base to hit, total of 16, and hits Dullgut. Oh my goodness, another one-shot. Basically decapitates Dullgut as he comes rushing into the bush. And, oh, it's just a sight. I could just picture, like, the goblin rushing and trying to dive into the bushes, Chukka coming out of nowhere, and then saying something to the effect of, it's execution time, and just lops the dude's head off, like something from, hearing maybe some people in a town square as an execution goes off, and just completely kills the goblin in one shot. We are now down to 3 goblinoids. That's 3, right? Yep, 3 goblinoids and 4 Kenku still alive. Surprisingly enough, this is turning the tides very quickly here, as Dullgut has now just died as they were going to attempt to make their next attack. Well, unfortunately, that is Dullgut's turn, as they are now dead in the bushes. Oh, no. And we move on to Chukka, who is now actually able to get their ready turn off, and goes in to attack, goes in to help out Scribble and Kettlesteam here. They can definitely make the move 30 feet over to Khazran, and goes in to attack Khazran here with their silvered pike. All right, the only attack they get. Oh, and we have no one to target, so there we go. And let's see here. Base 9, total of 11. Definitely misses Khazran, unfortunately. And could have only done 1 point of damage, apparently. 1 point of damage. Is that right? Oh, yeah. They don't have a strength score. Wow. Okay. They have a 10. So no bonuses there for damage. And unfortunately, Khazran just blocks the shield. Uses their shield to block Chukka's attack, seeing what had happened. And has no surprise there from Chukka. All right, so that is Chukka's turn. They've moved in, used their attack, and we move on to Clonk. Clonk, being over here, is going to get the element of surprise on Duggar here, rushes out from the bushes, and goes in for an attack. So let's see here. They have their Hellfire Warhammer. I'm not going to investigate this. Let's see what happens as Clonk goes in for the attack on Duggar, our Bugbear. All right, so 1 attack here. That's a base 6, total of 8, and misses, unfortunately. Could have dealt 6 points of damage. Now, let's see here. The Hellfire Warhammer. Is there anything special to this? It could have been a D8 or a 1D10 plus 1. Let me see something here. Why is something called a Hellfire Warhammer, but it's not dealing anything special? And why? Hold up here. Alright, that's weird. It can get a D10, but they gave it a plus 1 somehow. I'm curious. I want to see something real quick here. That's strange. Maybe there's a bonus for using it at 2 hands. I don't know. Really odd, but whatever. Okay, so the attack misses as Clonk comes charging out with maybe some kind of a weird moo sound. Hearing some cattle trying to think, oh, this is how we intimidate people. But Duggar is able to completely dodge out of the way and avoids being hit with the Hellfire Warhammer. That is Clonk's turn, as they've rushed in and attacked, and probably won't go to... they will pivot as well. I come over to the side here, trying to block Duggar from advancing and getting closer to Khazran. All right. Up next would have been Kokerer, but they're done for. And now we go back to Scribble, who is our MVP so far of the night. And Scribble is going to move back 10 feet, target Khazran, and go ahead for that arcane shock attack that works so well on the other Hobgoblin. All right, so the attack is a base 9, total 14, and unfortunately misses Khazran. Could have dealt 16 points of damage. And they're going to go ahead and continue to back up, staying as far away as possible. and stick back there, protecting whatever this path may lead on to for the hobgoblins and other goblinoids. So that's Scribble's turn. We now move on to Khazran, who is in who's in melee here with Chukka, and is going to go ahead and attempt to take an attack here. So we'll go ahead and switch our targeting over to Khazran. And with the longsword drawn, let's just double check, make sure we don't have... Alright, no multi-attack, just one longsword swipe. So, Khazran, having parried the first attack from Chukka, goes in to retaliate with a longsword swipe of their own. And that looks like it's going to be a total of 10, missing Chukka, unfortunately, and only would have dealt 2 points of damage. Wow. Let's see what ELG has to say here. Apparently, Hellfire weapons are a type of magic weapon from Descent into Avernus that shed light and send the souls of people they kill to hell, but don't actually do anything special in combat. Thank you. Okay, so that +1 bonus needs to go then. All right, thank you so much for that. That was super helpful, ELG, and I will update this as necessary, because for some reason they gave it a +1. There we go. All right, so that's updated. Very good. Actually, he's not wielding any armor, so he will be using it as a two-handed weapon. So we're just going to go ahead and put that as 10 there, and we'll do the versatile damage as 8. Which I know there's a way to get the versatile. I think you hold down shift, maybe. Yeah, it's shift when you're rolling for damage here. So I'll just leave it as is. Doesn't really matter. All right, Airless Quill 9. Thank you so much for joining as well. Didn't see you there in the chat earlier. I hope you're enjoying yourselves here as Kenku and Hobgoblins and goblinoids are battling each other in this forest area. All right, so Khazran made their attack, didn't hit, and we move on to Kettlesteam here, who attempted to put Khazran to sleep last time, and will probably do something a little different this time. We do have Bestow Curse and Fairy Fire, which isn't going to really help much of anything here, and we'll probably just do Bestow Curse then. So we're going to go ahead and curse Khazran. Alright, so that's going to be the target here, and we will go ahead and go to cast spells. We have our cantrips, and we have our innate spells. So we'll go ahead and do this. Let's see here. You touch a creature that you can... Oh god, it has to be touch? I don't want to do that. There's no point in that. He's not a melee person. Alright, we're going to do the Fairy Fire instead. We're just going to do it like this. Okay, so let's see here. Alright, so Kettlesteam throws down a Fairy Fire, which lights up this area, illuminating it, which is, it's already kind of bright anyways. It's the daylight. But we do have the Fairy Fire, which has a DC 13 dexterity save, and Khazran fails with a 4. They are now lit up like a Christmas tree, glowing with the Fairy Fire, which could definitely help out Chukka, who has a turn coming up at round 3. So that's Kettlesteam's turn. They're going to back up a little bit, keeping their distance, and we move on to Friz here, who, seeing Dullgut get, basically his head lopped off, is going to move up a little bit and take a shot here and see what happens. So, seeing that Chukka's nice and close by, he's going to go ahead and attack with his short bow, I believe. All right. And having advantage on this, we will go ahead and give him advantage because he's hidden still. And the short bow. So we have a base 16, total of 20, and hits Chukka for 4 points of damage, which does technically reveal him. But he's going to go ahead and use a bonus action to duck back down and hide. So we're going to hit that bonus action. And then we will make a stealth check here. All right, that's going to be a 12, total of 18, and he definitely hides, once again, from Chukka's passive of 12. And then, to end the turn, he's going to go ahead and, he's going to move over to here to keep his new position a secret. All right, Chukka takes a little bit of damage from Friz, who actually gets a shot off. And we move on to Duggar, who is, going 1v1 here. He's going to go ahead and do a little repositioning. So he's going to go bounce up to here, over to here, and here, to try and get closer to Khazran, and goes into attack Clonk. So with his, let's see here, we'll drop that back down. With the Morningstar selected, we go ahead and get one little bonk off. And we have a base 12, total of 16, and hits Clonk. Oh no! That was one-shotted. Clonk got hit once, taking 17 points of damage and killing him instantly. Wow, this is just a night of one-hit wonders here. We are now down 1 Kenku, and we are back to 3 versus 3 here at the bottom of round 2. Duggar is excited about having defeated Clonk in one shot, turns his attention to the other Kenku and starts salivating a bit. So that was 5, 10, 15 feet to there, and moves an additional 15 feet to here, moving and advancing on the Kenku spellcasters. So we are at the bottom of round 2 here. Let's go ahead and check our D100 roll to see if something special happens. I guess Clonk is onomatopoeia. Yeah, he definitely got clonked. Oh boy. All right, let's take a look at our roll here. We have a 52. Sadly, nothing happens. But we do move on to the top of round 3 with a dead Dulgut who, is kind of spilling out blood. It's kind of gross. And we move on to Chukka here, who has advantage from Khazran being lit up by the fairy fire. He's going to position and shift up a little bit to get closer to his Kenku feathery friends and goes in for attack on Khazran. All right, so let's take a look here. The pike is just 1 attack here, nothing special, but it is at advantage. Now, this should roll automatically with advantage because he is glowing. So let's go ahead and see what happens here. Perfect. All right, so we have a base 16, total of 18, and just hits Khazran for 1 point of damage. I think Chukka is just here for moral support, to be honest. This is kind of silly. And just, gives off this cry of arena fans jeering, like, boo, boo, only dealing 1 point of, scraping damage as the pike scrapes off the metal of Khazran, dealing, maybe more so psychic and mental damage from the sound of metal scraping on metal. But we do, unfortunately, move on because, Chukka doesn't want to draw an attack of opportunity, and we move on to the Kenku, formerly known as Clonk, to the Hobgoblin, formerly known as Volker. And we move on to our MVP here, Scribble. Scribble, seeing that Duggar is advancing, is going to go ahead and target him and go in for the Arcane Shock Attack. So let's see here. What we got? We have a base 8, total of 13, and unfortunately misses. Could have possibly dealt 9 points of damage. A low row on this one, but is a little disappointed that it didn't go anywhere else from there. So that is Scribble's turn. He's not going to really move much of anything because they are protecting something. Maybe we'll back up just a little bit. And we move on to Khazran, who is shifting up and out of the glow, even though he's still unfortunately glowing as it is right now. And I just need to double check that spell here for Fairy Fire. Oh yeah, they are just stuck like that, unless they have any way of getting rid of it. All right, so he is just glowing now for quite some time. All right, so Khazran's going to go ahead in and target Chukka and go in for the attack. All right, another long sword swipe, 15, dealing total of 18, dealing 5 points of damage and wounding Chukka. All right, Chukka's not doing so hot here and is definitely in some trouble here. That is Khazran's turn. He's moved a little bit, pivoted, and is looking to avoid maybe dealing any attacks of opportunity, but is wearing armor here. So he's going to actually call out to anyone else that's here and point at Scribbles. He wants Scribbles done and dealt with. So he's moved 5, 10. He's going to venture the rest of his movement out, and Chukka is going to get an attack of opportunity as Khazran moves off. So we'll go ahead and make that reaction. And let's see here. Base 15, total of 17, and unfortunately just misses Khazran as he laughs and bats the silvered pike out of the way and goes in for, moves in to advance on Scribble. Rushes up, and that is Khazran's turn there. Oh, let's see here. I think... Uh-oh. Something... It looks like... I can't do anything. Looks like my screen has... Can I refresh? Uh-oh. I've done too many things. Ah, there we go. Oh, that's good. It all came back to working order here. All right. Khazran's all set. Let me get my combat tracker back up, and we will go on to Kettle Steam. Owlin, hello, welcome aboard. Absolutely love this combo. Thank you so much. This was a viewer submission, so if you want to also, subscribe or not subscribe, if you want to, submit something, go ahead and check the description below. Should be like the first link to make a suggestion for a future event. All right, Kettle Steam. Let's see here. What is Kettle Steam gonna do? They've already done. They're concentrating on that. Let's see here. Multi-attack. They could make 2 dagger attacks. They could try and make friends. That would be kind of funny, but that's not really going to help anything now. Well, you know what? Since he's here, he's going to go ahead and target Khazran and try to curse him. He's right there. Might as well. Or no, that's a... Shoot. He's just going to go ahead and chuck a couple daggers. All right. There we go. All right, so how many daggers does he have? Enough daggers. So a dagger attack number 1 is going to be base 15, total of 20, dealing 4 points of damage. And dagger attack number 2 is going to be a base 9 and misses, unfortunately. And then Kettle Steam jumps back a bit and goes into the brush a bit to avoid being attacked by Khazran, trying to help out Scribble as much as possible. Up next is Friz, and Friz, hiding down here in the bushes, is going to go ahead and target Chukka. Since, I don't know, he does have potentially the range to attack, but now Khazran's in the way, so he's going to go ahead and just target Chukka. Friz is his own goblin. He does what he wants. All right, he is hidden, so he's going to go ahead and make an attack on Chukka at advantage with his short bow. All right, so the advantage attack coming in, that's going to be a base 15, total of 19, and unfortunately kills Chukka with 6 points, dropping him to the ground. Chukka is on the ground, bleeding out, unfortunately, and Friz is now visible. Kind of yips and yells. He's like, yeah, haha, got him! And then uses a bonus action to hide once again. All right, so we'll go ahead and do that nimble escape, and we will make a stealth check to see if he hides. Oh, what is that? Oh, that is a 7. Unfortunately, he does not hide. That was just barely there, and he comes over here thinking he's hidden once again. Friz is farming kills while the rest of the team pushes the objective. That's really what's going on here. Friz ain't stupid. He knows what's going on. All right, now we move finally on to our last combatant for round 3, and that is going to be Duggar, as Duggar comes on up and goes in, let's see here, that was 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25, 30, and pivots Scribble here for the flanking bonus, and goes in for the attack on Scribble. All right, so without further ado here, we'll go ahead and roll, and that's going to be a base 7 and misses Scribble with an 11 total, surprisingly enough. What is there? Oh, yeah, that's right. They have mage armor on, so they have a total of 14 and takes no damage whatsoever. All right, that is the bottom of round 3 here. We are going to the top of round 4, and by round 4, this is when our combatants, having just survived about 18 seconds of combat, have some decisions to make of, running for their lives or fighting it out. And currently, the Hobgoblins and goblinoids are in the lead here of 3 versus 2. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and roll at the bottom of round 3 our D100 check to see if something unique happens. And we have a 48. Surprisingly and sadly, nothing happens. Go Friz and hope one day he becomes his own boss. That may be what he's working on, becoming the next goblin boss. All right, so top of round 4, we have Dullgut out, Chukka out, Clonk out, and Volker out. We start our turn here with Scribble. Scribble seems to be holding their own so far, and calls out to Kettle Steam to run and go warn the rest of the crew. He will hold them off as long as possible. So Scribble here, calling out in his own Kenku way of however that sounds, is going to go ahead and try and hit Khazran with his shock attack. Actually, no, he's going to turn. Duggar has potentially easier time to hit here, and he is flanked. He's going to go ahead and go for that shock attack on Duggar. All right, that's going to be a base 12, total of 17 to hit, which does indeed hit and deals 15 points of damage to Duggar. That's a good, strong shock attack, but Duggar here has 27 points of hit points, and takes a shock, jolts a little bit, but then just kind of laughs at Scribble, who is, still standing there. And he looks around, he goes, maybe now I should leave as well. And squawks a bit and rushes off as well. He's going to take 2 attacks of opportunity here. And both Duggar and Kozron are going to go ahead and make their attacks. Oh, that's a natural 20. And we have a Glyph of Shielding here. What is the totals of 24? That's going to be a hit regardless. He can't use it. So he's going to go ahead and get whacked. And takes 17 points of damage. Whoa. What in the world? Holy cow, that is a lot of damage there. And is almost defeated as he tries to rush off. Kozron goes in for the attack as well. And see if we can finish off Scribble here. Base 14. That's going to be a 17. What is his... A 14 plus 2. Oh, that's not going to help. He'll try to use his Glyph of Shielding, but sadly the attack still goes through, and Scribble is dropped as he goes in to try and rush away, but sadly is defeated. Up next is Kozron, who turns to Kettlesteam and points at him and goes in for the attack. All right, Kozron is attacking Kettlesteam here, and it looks like we might have a full wipe here on one side. 19 base, total of 22. We got 6 points of damage here, and Kettlesteam is hit and bloodied. Unfortunately, this isn't looking great for our Kenkus, and we move on to Kettlesteam here, whose turn is next. He's going to take a disengage action, and is going to rush off into the high brush here. Actually, you know what? He's actually going to do a hide. He's going to hide. Attempt to hide? No, I don't think that's going to work because he is seen, but this is high grass area, so he could kind of go prone. Now they're right next to each other. That's not really going to help. He's going to disengage. And let's see here. Yeah, that did turn really fast. The top of the initiative order definitely is cursed, ELG. Oh, man. All right, so Kettlesteam is going to disengage, and he's going to go ahead and attempt to rush off into the woods here. 30 feet, rushes down into that way, and kind of disappears into the woods here. And Kozron is down. Let's see here. Kozron is going to go ahead and point to Friz and order him to finish off the fleeing Kettlesteam here as Kettlesteam tries to rush off. Friz, let's see here, will rush up, avoiding the high grass in case there's another Kenku there, rushes over, following the orders of Kettlesteam, and goes in for the attack with the short bow. Let's see what happens here. All right, short bow attack, and that's going to be a 1, and misses Kettlesteam. Did Friz pull the punch or pull the attack and avoid it or miss on purpose? Who knows? We won't really know until another time. Drop a Nightwalker in here. Hello, Ichigo. Yes, what's going on? We are finishing up this round of Monster vs. Monster here, where we had Goblinoids versus Kenku. And at first, I really thought the Kenku were going to win this one. So Frizz's turn ends, and Duggar tries to rush off after Kettlesteam to finish off the attack, but won't be able to make it. Rushing in there, sadly, Kettlesteam, we'll just call this an end here as we go to the bottom of round 4. Yeah, unfortunately, Friz did not make that attack here. But at the bottom of round 4, let's go ahead and make ourselves one more D100 check to see if anything strange or odd happens. And we go ahead and roll, and we get ourselves a 39. Sadly, nothing happened with that 39. All right, and that is it. I'm calling it for tonight's Battle of Monster vs. Monster here, as this is a win for our Goblinoids. They came from behind with this victory. Honestly, they probably should have fled after the first couple kills here, but they pulled it off by getting to the casters and were able to win this one. So let's go ahead and take a look at the poll here. So, what do we got going on here? Who took the win here? The crew that talks too much? Unfortunately, that was our Kenku. No, I'm sorry. No, you're right. The crew that talks too much are the Goblinoids. Those were our goblins. They did win, so 50% of you that voted for talks too much did win this one. The crew that doesn't know how to talk were the Kenku. They did not win. 25% of you voted for them. Unfortunately, they were not the winners tonight. And the crew of doesn't talk well together was our hidden one. That was our D100 roll. And I will just leave that to the mystery of what could that have possibly been in tonight's game of the D100 here. As I maybe mysteriously look at this pool of water here. I don't know. Maybe there's something in there. Who knows? We'll never know, because tonight's episode of Monster vs. Monster is officially over. Now, thank you all so much for joining me. A little bit of the business here. What is the virtual tabletop I'm using? This is Foundry VTT. I love Foundry. It is better, in my opinion, than Roll20. I switched from Roll20 a couple years ago and have not gone back. It's a one-time payment of like $50 for the license, and you never have to pay anything ever again, and you can mod the heck out of it. So much better than all the other tabletops that are services. Meteor Swarm. That would have been good. Errorless Quill. Goblins would probably be able to catch up to the Kenku and cut him down realistically. Yes, this is true, but Friz is our special goblin here. He's been hanging around for many of our adventures, so he's got an agenda. And frivolously going off against after one lone Kenku, he's not really looking at the small goals, he's looking at the bigger picture and bigger goals. Especially with the short bow, true. Foundry is great. Yes, it definitely is a really great environment. I absolutely love Foundry, especially with JB2A's automatic animations, which you've been seeing here with some of the spell effects. And what's the other one here? MIDI QOL, MIDI Quality of Life, which is another thing that I use to help with rolls and whatnot. The music is a free one. It's called, what's it called here? Let me take a look. Imperial Forces. It's a free bit of music here on YouTube, and most of the names were created by fantasynamegenerator.com, as well as the battle map. The battle map is by Che and Peku. You can find them at patreon.com/ChePeku. I am affiliated with none of these products. I just like them a lot and recommend you all looking into them if you have the money to support these people as well. So that will be it so much. I'd like to take a moment to thank everyone that was in chat. Ichigo, Endless Quill 9, Evil Lord Gravy, Ian Revick, Flame Loud, Owlin, Andreas Husfelt, let's see here, who else? Hair Doctor, Truck95, Chicken King, Brain Cell, and Lucan. Thank you all so much for joining me tonight. You guys are amazing and keeping chat alive, and so much fun to, see what's going on. It was so much fun having you all here. Ichigo says, right now I want to take out the Goblins roll of Meteor Swarm real quick. Thank you all so much for joining me. This has been a blast and fun as always. So glad you all could join me for another episode tonight. If you haven't seen some of the older episodes, I definitely recommend you check them out, because there is a bit of a backstory. There's some world building going on here. So there are things that are changing and events happening. So if you're curious to see what's going on, go back, start from the beginning. It all builds on itself. It's really amazing. So you're very welcome, Errorless Quill. Thank you so much for joining. You guys are awesome. And if any of you are watching this as a video later on and have gotten all the way to the end, you are awesome as well. And this is me, Andrew, from the D&D CR Exposed YouTube channel, asking the question, are your encounters even rated? Have a good night, folks, and hopefully... Oh, FML, hello. Only caught the end, but it was fun. Yes, definitely watch it from the beginning. Hilarious, a lot of the stuff that was going on. And check out some of the other videos as well. And possibly come back tomorrow night as me and my crew live stream our adventures in the Pathfinder 2nd Edition Beginner's Box. We have been playing around with that and stumbling our way through all the rules and little tidbits here and there. And, watch us have some fun with that. All right, guys, have a great night. See you later.